Hey YouTube, check this out. This is not a drone. This monster-sized thing is a gas-powered RC car for driving in the snow. It's massive. And this is Drone Talk. Stay tuned. Hey YouTube, welcome to episode number 2 of Drone Talk. In this episode, I'm going to give you my comments on some of the cool drones shown at CES. Now, nothing new, nothing revealed at CES, because if you watch my prediction video, I covered everything that was shown, and I think I was pretty much bang on so far. Pretty darn good. Now, before we get into that, I have to say this channel is growing thanks to you guys, the subscribers. This is just a hobby channel for me. I do have a day job, so I do this on the side, and I never thought it would grow this big, and I really wasn't too worried, but I'm glad it's growing. The only thing I'm noticing is that I have less and less time to respond to your emails or comments. So because this channel is getting so big and everybody's sending me emails, I swear they're in the hundreds each day, and comments on videos, the more videos I put out, the more videos there are to comment on, so I'm having difficulty keeping up. I've adopted this situation. If you send me an email, I am going to respond only once. If you want to be chatty and send me another question or whatever after I respond, I probably won't see it because I've moved on to the other emails. If you post a comment on a video, I will try to respond once. If you want to be chatty and post another comment and ask more questions, I probably won't see it because I've moved on to thousands of other comments to respond to. I just don't have the time. I'm so sorry, but that's what's happening here. Now, I just want to take a minute here to discuss the YouTube community. There's this really cool thing in YouTube called YouTube Community, and basically it's a location where I can share my thoughts and ideas on any new product that's come on the market, and many of you can see it and you can comment on it. Now, I've noticed a lot of you, well, actually, it's kind of funny. About 2 months after I post something about a new product coming out, 2 months later, a lot of you will post a comment or send me an email and say, "Hey, Steve, have you seen this new product?" Meanwhile, I'm going, "Didn't you see 2 months ago where I talked about it on YouTube Community?" So I'm not sure exactly how that works with all of you. I don't know if you need a cell phone or a tablet to actually see what I post, but I think if you're subscribed, you should see it. If someone knows how that works, post a comment below and explain it so we can all benefit from it. All right, let's jump to CES 2020, and we're going to start with Autel and the EVO 2. Now, if you watch my prediction video, you'll see that I talked about the EVO 2, and pretty much everything I said was bang on because Autel leaked all the specs, or the specs were leaked, so there was no big guessing work there. But now my dilemma is I have the Autel EVO 1, and I'm sure all of you out there who have the Autel EVO 1 are probably looking and going, do I upgrade to the Attell EVO 2? It's kind of a dilemma. If you have the Attell EVO 1, you might be kind of silly to buy the Attell EVO 2 8K. The reason I say that is because if you have a computer that you just bought today and it was the latest greatest, and you've got some pretty powerful editing software, well, then you can edit 8K video. If you don't have that, the 8K is useless. And if you start flying the Attell EVO 2 8K and record at 4K, 60 frames per second, well, then you're basically flying your Attell EVO 1. However, you do get about another 5, or if you're lucky, 10 minutes flight time. You do have 360 obstacle avoidance. So then the question is, if you're like me and you own this, the Attell EVO 1, do you wait for the 6K 1-inch sensor version, which obviously is the better Attell EVO? But here's the dilemma with that. This is the Mavic 2 Pro. And it's basically the Attell EVO 2 1-inch sensor Pro model. It's got all the same obstacle avoidance all around. It does the same thing. It does not have the same flight time. You know, the Attell EVO 2 has a better flight time by about 5 minutes over this one. The Attell EVO 2 has a bit more range than this one. So then you're saying, then why do I need the Attell EVO 2 6K with the 1-inch sensor? Well, because it's 6K. But if you're me, I've got nothing. None of my computers will process 6K right now. I'm at a loss. Now, if I've caused many of you to go, well, then I'm not going to get the Attell EVO, I will say this. The Attell EVO has one benefit for the next few years, and that is there's no fly zones. So on a DJI drone, you have no fly zones, you know, but those won't exist in a few years anyways, thanks to the FAA. So with the Attell EVO, you can fly it anywheres for the next little while until the FAA comes out with the remote ID or whatever they're going to come out with. Okay, so now I want to muddy the waters more because I noticed there's quite a few reviewers who were at CES, saw the Autel EVO 2 and missed the most glaring problem with it compared to the Mavic. They were saying this is the best thing since sliced bread, but they missed something so glaring I couldn't believe it, and that is, if you own an Autel EVO 1, check out the flight features. They are like, oh, maybe about 2% of what you get on a Mavic Pro. There's only orbit, follow me, tap to fly, and waypoints. That's all Autel includes. Yeah, the Mavic 2 Pro has so many flight features. And worst of all, they didn't upgrade the controller. I was so hoping they would upgrade this controller. Maybe put a little bit wider screen, because there is room to add a wider screen, but they didn't. It's cost saving. Okay, so now you're saying, Steve, what do I do? Well, honestly, I'm even at a dilemma because I don't know if I'm gonna buy the 8K version or the 6K version or neither. You see, the 8K version is already in production and they're coming out with it. They have not even started making the 6K camera for mass production, so that's probably another 2 months before that's offered. So you have a choice. You could buy the 8K version, then later buy the 6K camera and attach it, which is a really cool thing that Autel did, unlike DJI where you got to send it back. Or wait and just buy the 6K version, because by then DJI may have come out with their new drone, and by then you might not buy anything. You'll probably buy a DJI product. So it's a bit of a dilemma, you know. It's going to cost more if you buy this and then upgrade the camera later, vice just buy the one with the 6K camera. And the last thing that confuses me in my decision with an Autel EVO 8K or 6K is when you take a look at the 8K lens, it looks like a cell phone camera. That lens is pretty much the tiniest, most useless looking lens I've ever seen compared to a real lens on a camera with a 1-inch sensor or other drones. Take a look at the Attell EVO 1. The lens on that is pretty darn awesome looking compared to the Attell EVO 8K. I don't know if DJI is really too concerned with Autel. I'm sure they are, but not massively concerned because DJI is international. But Autel, not really international yet. So to sum up, this is the year 2020 and a lot of you are just learning about 4K video. So I can imagine if you wanted to even use 8K video, you know, by the time the world adopts 8K video, the Autel EVO with a 1/2-inch sensor is going to be something way in the past that you'll be buying in the bargain bin. The company Xdynamics was at CES so they could show off their new Evolve drone, which looks like this. Now this is the Evolve 1, not the Evolve 2 that they just came out with. This was their first entry into the consumer drone world. The Evolve 2 is much thinner, way better than the Evolve 1, and I thought I knew what all the specs would be with the Evolve 2 since they were announced pre-CES, but they kept one, at least they kept one from me, and that is that it has forward obstacle avoidance. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. So the Evolve 1 was a premium drone. The Evolve 2 is obviously a more premium drone. It's got like a camera in the front that is micro four thirds, so not those little tiny 1-inch sensors or 1/2-inch sensor. This is the real big daddy camera that they have on the front. Records at 4K, 120 frames per second. The camera's removable, so you can put other ones. The lenses are removable, so you can replace them. So it's a photographer's dream. 11 kilometers to 12 kilometer flight range, long flight time, like 30 or 40 minutes, carbon fiber body. It's got so many neat little things about the drone that makes it premium. So yeah, it comes at a premium price, and I believe the price is over $3,000 US. When the exact price is known, well, you will know it. So the company 00 Robotics were at CES and they were showing off their V-Coptr. You know, the drone with only 2 motors and it's got servos to move the engines sideways so that it can fly. They said at CES that the V-Coptr is coming out in the month of February. Now, I said in my predictions video that I don't think I'm going to see it in the month of February. And I'm still saying that because they might ship it at the last day of February, and it is a leap year, so they could ship it on the 29th. But yeah, I'm interested to see that because I've never seen the V-Coptr fly outdoors. I have seen zero to do with the camera. As well, I've never seen the flight interface software. I have no idea what that is. What does it What does it entail? Do you have orbit, follow me? It's supposed to have obstacle avoidance in the front. I've never seen that work. They get this thing out. It will be the only drone on the market that flies for 50 minutes. Can you imagine flying a drone for 50 minutes? That is a ridiculous amount of time. You could sit there and film all day. Well, you could film for 50 minutes, but it's going to seem like all day. You don't have to land, so you can really do some spectacular filming if that is the case. Now, the folks from DJI were also at CES, but you probably didn't know it because they didn't have much to show off that was brand new other than the Mavic Mini and some of the Ronin products. But they were also showing off the Phantom 4 Pro 2.0. Why did they bring this drone back? Here's my take on why they brought this drone back. Because they don't have a consumer camera that shoots at 4K 60 because they crippled the Mavic 2 Pro. So this is the only drone in their lineup that shoots at 4K 60 frames per second with an aperture that you can actually set yourself and a mechanical shutter, which no other drone offers, you know, in the price range. So they're pushing this one again until they get their new product out the door. Does everybody remember this one? This is my favorite. The PowerEgg. This thing is so cool. Here, I'll just sit it up. It comes with a little stand. It's pretty cool. Well, Powervision made a new one. Yes, they've got the PowerEgg X. So yes, the PowerEgg X. Imagine, if you will, an egg. Here's my egg. Much smaller. The PowerEgg X is much smaller than this, about the size of your hand. So what they did is they put a camera in the front, you know, a 4K 30 frames per second camera in the front, which has the ability to track you. If you put the egg down on a stand or a tripod, it will track you, the camera, as you move. So it's got tracking in it. And they put two little holes on each side, one on this side and one on the other side. In one of those holes, if you wish, you can put a strap. So you can take your hand and put a strap and hold it like a video camera and start filming when you're out on vacation. You can also attach little legs to each side, which makes it turn into a drone that flies for 30 minutes. If you put a plastic shell over it, there's a plastic shell you can stick on it, then you can fly it when it's snowing, when it's raining, and it does come with little pontoons if you want, so you can land in the water and take off from the water. So, the PowerEgg X. I ordered one, but I have no idea what's up with the company. I asked them, I said, hey, I ordered one. Are you going to ship it to me? And they said, yeah, we'll ship it to you. But nothing's shipped yet. So I don't know if they're having problems with the egg or they're redoing something, or maybe it's because I live in Canada and they want to give me a Canadian egg. Not really sure. But when I get it, I will review it on this channel and you'll get to see it. So the PowerEgg X deserves my award of the most weirdest product of the year 2020 so far. And this brings me to the end of this episode of Drone Talk. Now, I do have many topics to discuss in future episodes. A lot of you have asked me to comment on the FAA remote ID. I live in Canada. Those who asked me to comment live in the US. So a lot of videos are out, but I will comment in a future video. You know, I'll give you my thoughts and probably what you should all do, because we had a similar situation in Canada and ours worked out quite well for the most part. I also want to touch on the topic of ordering from Chinese websites, since all these drones that you buy are pretty much in China. And a lot of times you might buy a low-cost drone in China. And I notice a lot of you every now and then will have questions. If it's safe, what should I do? How long should I wait? So I will discuss all that in a future episode as well. But for now, I'm going to say it is freezing cold outside, it is cloudy, dull, and I can't go out and fly, so you might see a lot more episodes indoors, vice outdoors. So for now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.